Okay, today's aim is how do we bisect an angle? Well, the first thing we have to do is define what it means to bisect. So what does it mean to bisect? To bisect means to divide into two equal or congruent parts. So bisect is a verb. But there is also a noun that goes along with this, and that is a bisector. A bisector is something that divides something else into two equal or congruent parts. So this is a noun. A bisector is a noun. To bisect is a verb. Let's take something that we're all familiar with. One of the things we just learned was the midpoint of a line segment. And the midpoint of a segment is a point that divides the segment into two congruent segments. A point, line, ray, or other segment that intersects a segment at its midpoint is said to bisect the segment. So here I have line L. Line L is a segment bisector because line L bisects segment AC. B is the midpoint of AC. Line L bisects segment AC through point B. What does that mean? That means that AB, line segment AB, is congruent to line segment CB. Okay? We do not know what AC does to L. AC does not do anything to L because a line cannot be bisected. A line, as you can see, goes on forever and ever, and as we said in class, you cannot bisect infinity. But L, this infinite line L, definitely bisects AC to the point where AB and CB are congruent, and the way we note that in geometry is with these hash marks. So how does that apply to angles? So suppose I want to bisect an angle. Well, what does it mean? To bisect means to divide it into two equal parts. So an angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. And its endpoint is on the vertex, on the angle vertex. So here is the endpoint, which is K. It is a ray, so it goes on forever. And ray Kn bisects angle JKL. So Kn, ray Kn, bisects angle JKL. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, first of all, one thing to notice is the notation that we use to show that Kn bisects JKL is these arcs. This shows you that angle JKN is congruent to angle LKN. These two angles now, JKN, namely this angle, which I will highlight in green, and LKN, which I will highlight in red, these two angles are congruent to each other. We can also say that the measure of angle JKN is equal to the measure of angle LKN. Remember, we talked about the difference between equality and congruence. Equality shows the comparison of two measurements, or two lengths, in this case measurements of angles. When we want to say that two angles are congruent, we leave off the M, which stands for measurement. We just say that angle JKN is congruent to angle LKN. Okay, so how do we apply this to a problem? Let's take a look. So let's see what it says. Ray AC is the bisector of angle BAD. So ray AC, which is this guy here in blue, bisects angle BAD. So what does that mean? Well, that means that angle CAB and angle CAD are congruent. In other words, I know that angle CAB is congruent to angle CAD. Okay, so let's see what they're telling us. They're saying that measurement of angle BAC is 5x minus 1. By the way, BAC and CAB are exactly the same angle. And they're saying that the measurement of angle BAC is 5x minus 1, so I will put 5x minus 1 in my diagram. It's also telling me that the measurement of angle CAD is 4x plus 11. So CAD is this angle here in green, and that is 4x plus 11. Well, we know that angle CAB and angle CAD are congruent to each other, which means I can simply set 5x minus 1 equal to 4x plus 11 by substitution. So what are they asking me to do? They're saying solve for x. Okay, well, let's do the math. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4x from both sides of the equation, and I get x minus 1 is equal to 11. The next step is I'm going to add 1 to both sides of the equation, and x is equal to 12. So they asked me to solve for x. Check. X is equal to 12. Now they're asking me to find the measure of angle BAD. In other words, they want me to find the measurement of this big angle over here, BAD. Now I can simply say, okay, x is equal to 12. Let me substitute x in for 5x minus 1. So 5 times 12 minus 1, which is 60 minus 1, which is equal to 59. So this angle is 59. Now, if I want to be lazy about it, I can say, okay, well, CA or AC bisects BAD, so let me just double 59 and get 118, and I'm done with it. But I'd be making a big mistake if I did not check to make sure that 4x plus 11, when I substitute in 12 for x, is also equal to 59. It better be, because after all, ray AC bisects BAD. Let's see. Is 4 times 12 plus 11, is this equal to 59 as well? It should. So I have 48 plus 11. Is that equal to 59? Yes, it is. 59 is equal to 59. So now it says find the measure of BAD. Well, I can simply add 59 plus 59, and I would get 118. So there is the answer. The measure of angle BAD is equal to 118 degrees. Let's take one more example that's a little more complicated. So what does this problem say? Ray OB, that's this guy right over here, ray OB, is a bisector of angle AOC. So immediately what I want to do is note that in my diagram by using these little arcs like that. So now I know what? I know that angle AOB is congruent to angle COB. Okay. Well, what is AOB equal to? It says AOB is equal to 2x minus 4. So in here, in this crease, in this angle, I'm going to put 2x minus 4. And it's also telling me that BOC, this angle over here, BOC, which is the same as COB, that is equal to 3x minus 16. So I'm going to write 3x minus 16 over here. They're asking me for a whole bunch of things. We also can see that angle AOD is how many degrees? It's 90 degrees. Why? Because it's got that square there in the corner. That means that angle AOD is a right angle. It's 90 degrees. Here's a mistake that a lot of students make. They say, okay, I know that AOB is equal to 2x minus 4. That was given to us. And I know that BOC is equal to 3x minus 16. That was given to us too. What is the unknown is angle COD. So you know what? Let me just call that x, because whenever I have an unknown, I use x. You can't do that because you have no idea what x is. X has already been used to refer to angle AOB and COB. I cannot use x to refer to the unknown COD. So the way you do this problem is you need to first solve for x. Once you solve for x, you'll be able to find out the measure of AOB and COB. Now remember, if these two angles are congruent to each other, let me set their measurements equal to each other. So AOB is 2x minus 4, and COB is 3x minus 16. Let me set them equal to each other, and let me solve for x. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of my equation, and I get negative 4 is equal to x minus 16. The next step is I'm going to add 16 to both sides of my equation, and let's continue down here, and x is equal to 12. Okay, x is equal to 12. Let me substitute 12 in for each of these x values and find out what those angle measures are. Angle AOB and COB. Okay, so let's see. So AOB is 2x minus 4, which is equal to 2 times 12 minus 4, which is equal to 24 minus 4, which is equal to 20 degrees. So it looks like angle AOB is equal to 20 degrees. Let's make sure that angle BOC is also equal to 20 degrees. So BOC is equal to 3x minus 16, which is equal to 3 times 12 minus 16, which is equal to 36 minus 16, which is equal to 20 degrees. That's great. So BOC is equal to 20 degrees. It better be, because remember, OB is the bisector of AOC. So it better be true that these two angles, AOB and BOC, are congruent, and they are. Well, that means the sum of these is going to be 20 plus 20, which is 40, which means angle COD is now 50. How did I get 50? Remember, angle AOD is a right angle. That's 90 degrees. And if I subtract 40 from 90, I get 50. And that's how you get 50 degrees. At this point, you can answer any question they throw at you. Find the measure of AOD. Well, that was simple. I know that that's 90 degrees. It's a right angle. 16, find the measure of AOB. It's right in front of me. That is 20 degrees. Solve for x. Well, I would not have been able to answer question 16 if I hadn't solved for x already, and x is equal to 12. We did that right over here. Find the measure of AOB. Well, AOB is AOB. Oh, sorry. Find the measure of AOB. That is equal to 20. Angle AOB is congruent to what angle? That's what they're asking. And we have that right over here. AOB is congruent to angle COB, or you can call that BOC. That's perfectly fine. Find the measure of BOC. Well, if AOB and BOC are congruent to each other, this must also be 20 degrees. And finally, find the measure of COD. Well, we found the measure of COD. That's right over here. And the answer is 50 degrees. Well, I hope that was helpful. And good luck doing your homework this evening.